When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Morris?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
the doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. All right, all right, all right. So we're talking about boxing today. Now, I had a guest lined up, but as does happen in this industry of media, sometimes people don't show up. But nonetheless, no fear, no worries. Let's talk about boxing here in the city of Baltimore and the United States of America. Now, if we're going to talk about boxing here in Baltimore, I think the very first person we need to mention is Joe Gans. Do you know who Joe Gans was? Some of you do, some of you don't. Well, Joe Gans is buried out there at Mount Auburn Cemetery, and Gans is spelled G-A-N-S. Now, Joe Gans was an American boxer, rated the greatest lightweight boxer of all time by boxing historian Nat Fleischer. Well, thank you, Nat. But biographically, he was known as the Old Master. He became the first Black world boxing champion of the 20th century, reigning continuously as world lightweight champion from 1902 to 1908. And that included the era of the Baltimore Fire, for those who may not know. Defending the title 15 times versus 13 boxers. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Now, I want to share another piece of history with you. He was not the first Black world champion. The first Black world champion was in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. And I think his name was Dixon. He's from Canada. Give me a second. 1 second. Canada. What was his name? George Dixon. Doni Glover is absolutely right. After winning the bantamweight title in 1892, he became the first ever Black athlete to win a world championship in any sport. The first Black Canadian boxing champion, George Dixon. But we want to bring this on home a tad, Get this first sip of coffee up in me. First. Oh my goodness, the best part of waking up is that first sip of coffee. Shout out to one of my Facebook friends, Pat. She puts up a coffee meme every morning because she enjoys coffee as much as I do. So here in the city of Baltimore, we got some boxing history. I first learned boxing at North and Utah. It was a place called Utah Gardens, and Larry Middleton was in charge. Tim Conway was there. That's Senator Joan Carter Conway's late husband, Mr. Tim. So, and then Marvin McDowell was there. Marvin was a young boxer, a little older than me, of course. Marvin has Umar Boxing today at North and Druid Hill, still providing opportunities for other people, for young people to box. Many people have come through Marvin's camp. And again, he is at North and Druid Hill. This is West Baltimore. And then around the corner from here on Pennsylvania Avenue is Upton Boxing. And that's the home of Tank Davis. And I think he has a fight coming up shortly. I was watching a tape of him over the weekend in anticipation for this show. I don't know what happened to my guest. I guess he just disappeared. And we're going to get to that. I want to see who you like in the upcoming fight. But it's great to see people around the corner on national and international television for boxing. Always a good thing. And to see, at least vicariously, Tank interacting with the likes of Floyd Mayweather. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a beautiful thing. So I've been a tad critical of Floyd in some of his younger days and some of his comments as a younger person. But hey, we all say things when we're younger that we wouldn't quite say when we get older. So not so much on, but I do love the way that Floyd has celebrated, embraced, informed the young Tank Davis. I love that. One thing I love about Floyd, too, is his knowledge of history. Whatever field you go in, boxing, from boxing to dentistry to being an astronaut, know the history. Like right now, we're celebrating this black astronaut by the name of Glover, by the way, who's going to the moon. We're really proud of that. But he's got to know about Ronald E. McNair. Ronald E. McNair was doing star travel and was an astronaut, I think back in the 80s. And that's when his space shuttle, I want to say Space Shuttle Challenger, blew up. And so at Coppin, when I returned to college, they had the McNair program, the Ronald E. McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Program. And it was managed by Dean T.J. Bryant. And I will never forget the grooming that she did. I want to say some other words because it was brutal. She whipped our hind parts mentally to prepare us for the next level. And I thank God for Dean T.J. Bryant. I really thought she should be the president of Coppin State, but that's the discussion for another day. But Dean T.J. Bryant, she demonstrated agape love. She wanted us to be the best. I would get to work with mentors like Dr. Edmonds, Dr. Eugenia Collier. I got an opportunity to work with her over in Morgan State for a summer researching Denmark VC, some say Vesey. Denmark VC led what would have been the most elaborate slave insurrection in the United States. And It's so interesting how that groundwork was laid, because years later, I would write a book on the very same topic, I Am Black Wall Street, talking about Florida. Let me plug this book. You know, I wrote this book to talk about how blacks got to Oklahoma. And one thing that I found so fascinating was the role of Florida. See, after Trayvon Martin, I was so disappointed with Florida. I never wanted to go to Florida again. After I saw what they did, how they lifted up a George Slimerman and protected his skin color. But they treated Trayvon like nothing. And these people expect good to come to them. And they murdered that boy. I hated Florida. Never wanted to see anything. Never wanted to see Florida again. I never wanted to hear anything about Florida. But lo and behold, I find out some fascinating history. Like, did you know that if you were enslaved and you made it to Florida, you could get your freedom? Did you know that the United States did not own Florida until 1831? Did you know that Andrew Jackson was a damn racist, much like the ilk of Donald John Trump? And Donald John, don't cry now. Take it like a man. You gave it like a quote unquote man, now take it like a man. Stop whining. Just shut up. We don't want to hear you crying. Doesn't look good on you. You did all of these things. Now take your lickings, take your whipping. You are not above the law. And what your lawyer talking about, you're not beneath the law. You're beneath a lot of things, including that lawyer. Anyway, I digress. So, a lot of interesting history in Florida. And not all blacks were slaves and not all whites were free. Just to throw that in there to boot. But that's the name of the book, I Am Black Wall Street. Make sure you get a copy, or Unapologetically Black. Okay, so who do you like in this fight? Errol Spence, Bud Crawford. Who do you like? Pound for pound, it's going to be a good fight. Now, I was watching tapes, and I won't claim to be any pro, but this, for me, is what I see, and I could be wrong. So I'm open to any experts who want to jump in. Now, Errol Spence is a southpaw. Errol Spence Jr. is a southpaw. He's a hard hitter. He stalks. He doesn't mind taking a blow. As a matter of fact, when you hit him hard, he hits you back harder. That's been his pattern. That's what I've seen. Lefty, solid, southpaw. If you're fighting a lefty, most people know your right foot got to be outside of them. Your right foot, your lead right foot has to be outside of the traditional boxer that you're fighting. And that's the advantage they have, because they come with those angles from the left that a righty is not used to. A lefty. But Crawford is a traditional fighter, but he switches up. First round, second round, as soon as the pressure comes on, I don't know what he thinks, but he's a righty. So that means, technically, that his stronger hand is his right hand. But he switches up to put what would appear, because I've never been in the ring with him. And we have seen Terence Crawford stalk people and come to the point of knocking them out. But what I sense is Bud has to take the storm that Errol Spence is going to be bringing. He has to be able to withstand the storm, the most important rounds, providing they get through the first 10, are 11 and 12, the championship rounds. Will Bud hurt Errol is the question. Will Bud be able to endure through 10 to 11 and 12 my guest was suggesting that Errol is going to get tied in 11 and 12. They're both highly conditioned. They're both world-class athletes. June 17th, that's when the fight goes down. I wouldn't bet either way. Too dangerous. Because they're both champions. And I don't know that either one has been challenged like this fight. I see a draw. The question is, can Errol, at least according to Ori, who was going to be my guest, can Errol last through 10? And he suggested that Bud has the advantage in 11 and 12. But he got to survive the first 10. And Errol does hit hard. And he's a natural lefty. The thing is, when you're a natural lefty, that means your left is not your power shot per se. No, your right is not your lead jab is not your power shot. Your left is. But Bud has a transformative left. Is that left that powerful? Can it bail him out? Can it get him through? Will he have to stay traditional? So these are just some of my thoughts. Some other things going on in the news. We'd love for you to continue to join us. We're on 7 days a week right here on this network. If you're looking to have a show of your own, just email me, Doni, Doni at bmorenews.com or editor@blackusa.news. We'd love to have you on. Special thank you to also Dr. Tyrone Taborn of STEM City, USA. The show is in the metaverse. So we were Emmy-nominated back in February. We find out next month whether or not we've won. We should win. And then, but this show is in the metaverse. And if you want a show, that's what I was getting to, just email me, Doni, Doni at bmorenews.com. We just picked up Natasha White. Natasha was behind the walls. She spent time in solitary confinement, and that's a part of her mission today, to help people and families of those in solitary confinement. On this network, blackusa.news, just like on Be More News, 5-point agenda, black business, public education, returning citizens. Why? Because we're only 13% of the population and yet make up half of the jails. Affordable housing, universal access to health care. If you want to submit articles, same thing. You have stories that you want to post, you can send it to Doni, Doni at bmorenews.com, or you can send it to editor@blackusa.news. We're growing blackusa.news. We're always looking for new writers, new journalists. This is my first book. We love writers here, by the way. We love writers because most people can't write or don't write and choose not to write. And then they see somebody write and say, oh, wow, you like to write. You can really write. No, maybe you can write. You just don't write. Okay. That's what we go to school for, right? We go to school for 12 years to learn how to read, write, and count. We're increasingly in a world where handwriting is non-existent. People can't count with paper. People got to go to the calculator. Unapologetically black, yes. That's Donnie Glover, one of 50 visits to the White House. By the way, we're always looking for interns. If you would like to intern with Be More News, we just picked up one over the weekend. Young lady at Towson State, woo-hoo, who wants to get involved in journalism. Dealing with Be More News and blackusa.news, it is nothing to find yourself at the White House or anybody else's house. We cover it all. So we're always looking to grow the team. Mike from Tampa Bay, Florida. Originally from Sandtown. So looks like we're going to have an abbreviated show today. Was not my intention. I had some schoolwork to do, working to get back into Morgan State, so I have no problem jetting early. Are you going back to school? Are you taking those classes? Are you taking an entrepreneurship class, that sewing class, that website class? By the way, I have a company, DM Global Marketing and Public Relations. We help people run for office. We help people win office, locally, statewide. Matter of fact, my firm is the only firm in the state of Maryland to be a part of the last 4 gubernatorial victories. And B. Moniz is the only one who's endorsed the last 4 governors. Straight across the board. For better or worse. Some were given. And some were not. So, thank you for joining us this morning. Again, an abbreviated edition. My apologies. Not sure what happened to my guests. But things like this happen. I gave my take on Bud versus Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. And but it could be a knockout. You know, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit. And then you find out what somebody's really made of. Makes me think of when I lost my mom at the age of 20. I had a plan, go straight on through college. And it didn't turn out that way. Sometimes you get hit in life. Now, what you got to do, if you don't remember anything else, you got to get up. No matter how you get hit, where you get hit, you didn't see it coming, from the left, from your 6. All right, you got hit. You regroup, and you get back up. A Fed now. I don't know what is Fed now, Michael. Michael Randolph, do you want to come on the show? I have no idea what you're talking about, but I will put the link right here, Michael. We haven't had you on in a minute anyway, but I want to bring you on as a scheduled guest, not as an ad hoc. But here's the link. Yeah, but life will hit you. There's the link, Michael, if you want to come on. But life has this. Life will hit you sometimes, and it's unfair or it's not unfair. Sometimes, we don't know how to take it. Quite often, it's nothing that we have done. Sometimes just things happen. Bad things do happen to good people. And similarly, good things happen to bad people. I have the goal of being a better person. Even when it comes to the addicts in my community that don't look like me. I've come a long way. I remember being in those streets. Not quite like this, but it doesn't matter. Because the book says, all have sinned and fall short. All, everybody. The Pope, your mother, my mother, your father, my father, you, me, everybody. All. All means all. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So as we go on into this first week after Easter, I encourage you to keep studying and learning your history. One of the places that I must go is Egypt, to Karnak, see those temple walls where all of the major religions come out of. No matter what these people try to tell you today, it's all lies. It's all twisted stories. They're not mentioning Karnak in Egypt, in Africa. They're not showing you brown and black people. I don't know what you are believing in, Mr. Easter Bunny. But the Holy Story is about rebirth. Right now into the spring of the year. Nature is coming forth. Look at the trees. Take the time to look at the trees. The cherry blossom tree over in the park is now, turning to its spring colors. First it's white or whitish, and now it's turning green. Take time to check out the changing of the flowers and the trees and the leaves, and enjoy Mother Nature right before our very eyes. Last fall, last autumn, I had a chance to just pay attention. I took the time to just look at the leaves, just beautiful burgundy, orange, rust. Beautiful, beautiful. The glory of God all around us that we so often overlook. Special thank you to our sponsors. You know, we don't thank our sponsors quite enough on the show. We try to. Attorney Robert DeShields. We have Neil Dubois coming on this week. Chesapeake Habitat. If you're looking to build your own house or rehab a house and be a part of it, you get a Habitat house. A mortgage doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. Neil Dubois, the accident lawyer. 443-275-6345. Need a lawyer? We got good lawyers. Criminal, injury cases. Billy Murphy, 539-6500. There's also Robert DeShields. You need a business lawyer. And also Samra Stevenson. Big on wills in the States. Samra, S-A-H MRA, need to get her in this rotation. Stevenson. And tax time is coming up. I know they got some stuff, but make sure you fill out your taxes. If you have a business, make sure you go to the Maryland State Department of Assessments and Taxation and make sure you register your business. Pay that $300 that you got to pay every year. I think that's it. Getting ready for Black Wall Street. We're about to go out of town. Atlanta, New York, and Prince George's County. So, let me see this last comment, and then we're going to get up out of here. Thank you again to Dr. Tyrone Taborn. I sent the link. Man, the link is right here. Right here in this chat. Did you see it? Right there. That's the link. You see it? And again, I would much rather bring you on in a formal way, Michael Randolph. So we're going to get up out of here. I'll pause a minute. I don't know if you can do it that fast, Michael. Because the last time you came on, you had no shirt on. I want you scared of little girls. Ori Shabazz, y'all send him out a memo. We're disappointed in you, Ori. No call, no show. After we done set the show up. Everybody's getting married, new babies coming. Next time, Donnie Glover. Have a great day. Good morning, world.